Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it? You already know. Like a motherfucking smack addict. Bye. In a Menudo direct fashion, we're going to get straight into the content of the day. But before we do, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I am kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support. So let's get into this, right? Trip out, right? This one's going to blow your mind. We got an update, right? First of all, before we even get into the story, I wanted to tell you guys, Danny Masterson has been moved. Yep. And I called it. Fill it up with unleaded because the gun said it, right? I told you exactly what his master plan was and what Mr. Masturbate's options were, right? And he fulfilled the prophecy. He went ahead and grasped onto one of those options and did it. So he has now been moved to suicidal watch, right? And let me tell you about that and what that entails. So basically, he's playing crazy. He's going to go ahead and play crazy, and that's going to keep him off the S&Y yard. That's going to keep him off, not the general population yard, because he's never going there. It's going to keep him off the main line of the S&Y, meaning the yarda. So what he did was he locked it up. He re-locked it up, right? He basically went to the cops and told them, hey, man, it's all very comfortable, eh? Fucking up. Hey, I hear dead people, right? He said whatever he said, and he did whatever he did. And they placed him in that type of watch program. And what happens now is they're going to monitor him 24 hours a day. So he's going to be in there like this, right? And he's going to go in there and go crazy and act like a fucking fool for however long that lasts. I think they have up to a certain amount of time before they have to kick your ass up out of there. But if he keeps playing crazy, man, he'll be safe for the time being. So basically what he did was locked it up. Okay, that could only last for so long. I'm sure his attorney is behind the scenes trying to wiggle and get him somewhere where he's more comfortable. I said it before, there's only two places in the whole state of California that he's safe. One of them being the PHU Protective Housing Unit that housed Charles Manson. Somebody got at me the other day. They were like, hey, they lit Charles Manson on fire. Yeah, they did back in the early 80s in San Quentin and tried to throw him off the tier. We already know all about that, right? That yard where Charles Manson was placed was in a facility or a building called the PHU. Nothing will happen to him there. That's where ultimately, I believe truly Danny Raperson is going to end up. He's going to end up in the PHU, Pooey, right? Poochie. That's where he's going to end up, and he'll be fine because there's guys on the same page as him. But as of right now, he's been taken off the yard. I don't even think he hit the actual yard. I think he went straight from R&R right into fucking One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? So he's in there playing the role, but that's the only move he made. At this point, he's playing chess, not checkers. So his whole thing is to stay in there until he gets moved to a safe place. And like I said, there's only one place for him. So the person I wanted to talk about today is Isauro Aguirre, right? For those of you that don't know who Isauro is, that pinche fucking chirujo, right? This guy got known pretty notoriously for the crime that he committed. He is the Pearl Fernandez's son, Gabriel Fernandez. Of course, if you haven't heard the story, man, it's a sick story. They made a Netflix special, and a lot of people have spoke on it. I've talked about it in the past. He ended up catching the death penalty, right, for that case involving Gabriel, where Gabriel was murdered, right, and a lot of bad things happened. And I don't even like to get into the details of that story because it's sickening. But at the same time, this guy got known for that because he was the mother, Pearl Fernandez's boyfriend, and he was pretty much inflicting more of the tactics that were going on in that household. Whereas Pearl allowed it to happen. She did participate at some points, but she allowed it to happen. So she's a fucking fat mouth, sconca, torta, call her what you want, and I agree. Just don't call her innocent. She ended up getting moved to Valley State Prison for Women, whereas a lot of different things have happened to her. Subsequently, man, I told a story about my tia running into her, and it was all bad for her. Now, this guy, Isauro, was, of course, placed on death row. She got the LWAP, he got the DP, right? When I say DP, it should have been penetration by the GBGs, but he didn't get that. He got the death penalty. And now, on death row, there's separate yards, okay, or there used to be. Now, they're not killing anyone. Death row is they're transitioning a lot of them guys from death row out into the mainline yards ever since the end of hostilities, and a lot of rules and a lot of laws changed within the CDC. And they're trying to send some of these guys that are on death row, like Phantom from the Fresno Bulldogs, several others. Scott Peterson was moved to, of course, Mill Creek Prison. So they're moving a lot of these notoriously well-known criminals or these guys that have bad cases to these SNY yards. Most likely, most of them will go to Mule Creek because they do have a level 3 facility, level 4 facility. So they basically get an override from death row and they're thrown out on the yard while the legislation and everything is dealing with, killing people. So this guy was placed, because he got the death penalty, he was placed from San Quentin, this PC yard, because like I said, San Quentin has 2 different yards. One which is mainline death row, basically all the guys with righteous cases that are able to walk that group yard together. And then there's those weirdos that are in there for weird shit, and they have their own little yard. That's where they had, of course, people like the Night Stalker, Rich Ramirez, and several others that have done things to children and old people, right? So anyways, he was on that yard. So he was pretty protected and pretty safe. Well, a while back, man, they decided to move him because they were moving a lot of people. So they moved this guy to the same exact yard Danny Raperson is on, right? So he pulled up to that yard and he was able to facilitate some type of program on that yard for a while. Now, a lot of people ask me, how was he able to maintain on that yard having that case and everybody knowing exactly who he is, but Danny Masterson can't? Oh, this must be a white thing. No. This ain't that type of thing. Let me explain something to you. Everybody has different case factors, and whoever's there, depending upon what type of guys are there, is something going to happen to you. It might not happen now, it might not happen later, but it's going to happen. Hey, it's going to happen, homie. Don't even try to fight it, eh? It's going to happen. I got some inside info on that. So when that guy was first known to have pulled up on that yard, of course, the word out went like that. The word went out. Everybody was like, oh, okay, I'm fucking him. Straight up, eh? Right? They wanted to get a little piece of that action. Everybody wanted to tear him up. He was supposed to be whacked on that yard, okay? There was certain guys that were on that yard that were communicating with other people that were saying, okay, this vault is going to get got. No doubt about it, okay? At this time, there had been videos and content out on YouTube where Pearl Fernandez had got clipped on, or not smacked, but she had got fucked up in the kitchen in Valley State Prison for Women. That was truth. That was facts. It happened, right? My tia told me, like, hey, yeah, she got beat up from the feet up, and that's hard. So anyways, this chick is going through her motions, and he's definitely going to go through some serious ones. Now, this is a big guy. This guy, I think, is 6'2", 6'3", almost 300 pounds, 280 pounds. So would I say he's an intimidating force? People will look and be like, okay, we're going to have to use a bigger bone crusher. Doesn't mean they won't hit them, right? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Size means nothing in prison other than there's more area and circumference to hit. So anyways, he was supposed to be wrapped, right? He was supposed to get bodied. He was going to be in a pine box by noon. But it never happened. It never happened because the guys that were going to be doing that, this guy, of course, is playing chess, not checkers, just like Danny Masterson. He put him through the motions, right? He was moved to this spot, moved to that spot. And eventually, all they were able to do was to facilitate a beatdown. He got beat up, okay? And then he was able to be moved to a certain area of the prison where he was allowed to walk the yard. Now, don't ask me why. Don't ask me why Danny Masterson is in a different boat than him. They shouldn't be. If anything, that guy is, I won't say worse, but I'm saying he's equal or more than just a little bit. He did something to children. I think that's the most despicable crime you could do. Anytime that there's a child involved in your case on any level, man, gaga, you're bad news, right? So people ask me, why was he able to walk the yard, but Danny Masterson can't? Well, there's a whole bunch of different reasons why. Okay, I don't know the exact reason why they allowed that dude, but SNY is pretty much different. He might be put on a yard where mainly there are people of like-mindedness, weird cases, and he was able to get in where he fit in. Maybe these prison gangs or people that they had that were there at that particular time weren't focused on that. They were focused on fighting amongst each other. And that's pretty much what I heard happen, is at that time, there was a lot of vatos from the 2-5 gang, which is, of course, considered a protective custody gang. They like to consider themselves whatever they consider themselves, but them vatos. And there was another group that had sprung from the ashes like a rose from the concrete, as Tupac, he said it first. And here's some knowledge you can't get in college. They were too busy killing each other on them yards. They were too busy going at it. When groups are at guerra, they kind of forget what's going on over here. They're misdirected. And I think he was able to just slide in, someone was looking out for him. He was able to slide in at that particular time. And of course, his cellie or whoever it was gave him the little smackage, right? They took him to SmackDown like The Rock, but they didn't put no metal in him. It wasn't that serious. Now, I believe it kind of warranted that, on which death upon no one or no type of violence, but at the same time, there are those that just got that coming. So anyways, he was able to do his thing. From what I hear now, he's no longer on that yard. He's been moved. Where he's moved to, I don't know. I'm too lazy to look up the CDC registry and find out exactly where he's at. But I do know, and here's some more breaking news, that somewhere along the line, he might have joined GBG. He just might have went that route because he drank some of that Bud Light, some of that Aitu juice, and he is now considered by what a lot of people are saying a homosexual on the yard. You know, which is to each their own. If he likes fucking a little bit of that honey love, you know, that's on him. But at the same time, that's not going to protect him, nor the GBG is going to protect him from his fate and what's eventually going to come to him. Now they've moved him. He was able to escape that yard. And that's why people consider that yard that Danny Masterson is on one of the weakest yards in CDC. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. CDC flips all the time. Integrated yards, active yards, GP, SMY. They're always coming up with something new. Ultimately, they have their agenda. Their agenda is to cause chaos within them prison yards so that way they can eventually take it back to the courts and get all those that are real ones slammed back in the shoe for indeterminates. That's just my thoughts, whatever, right? So as far as that vaulter goes, how he was able to walk the yard, I don't know. It all depends on people. And why I think Danny Masterson won't be able to walk the yard? Well, Danny Masterson is what's hot right now. It's kind of like Lefty Gunplay. He might not be the best rapper, but he's what's hot right now. When your name is being spoken, people speak shit into existence. When everyone's watching, because this guy is nationally known, he's known throughout the world. When everybody is watching and waiting and anticipating some drama and some bullshit to happen, people speak it into existence and it happens. That's just what it is. Just like when there's somebody fucking on a yard or someone you don't want to see, like, damn, I would have out the fucking 3 sopas from fucking Orcorco way back in the days. That's the first vato that's going to pop up in R&R working. Hey, where's you and those little 3 sopas you owe me? Tama, oh, fuck, eh? Shit, no, we got beef, and I'm Mexican, we should have chili. Right, that's just how it is. So, this guy was able to walk the yard, okay? With the case, like he caught the Gabriel Fernandez case, to me, and to a lot of other people that have been down, that's probably the most despicable thing you could do. But everybody gauges and judges people differently. You know, some people think that any crime that involves children is the worst, like myself. Some think it'd be raperson, like Danny. Some people think, you know, it's snitching. Some people think it's being an ex-officer. To each their own, and however anyone thinks, that's depending upon their mind frame and how they were raised and their morals and their values and their moral compass and all that. There's a lot that goes into it. Okay? Why I believe Danny Masterson is not going to be able to walk that main line, hit that yard, is because people have already targeted him. Allegedly. Okay? About why you dry snitching and telling on the GBGs. I ain't telling on the fucking GBGs. It was already out before I said it. I just fucking pumped it up. I don't care. For anyone that would protect someone who does anything to women and children, you're basically, your hand is in that cookie jar too. You condone that shit, you might as well do it too. You're the same type of individual. Now, I'm for what's right and for not what's wrong, right? I'm for, if you're innocent, man, let's go full forward for the innocence, right? But if there's a lot of evidence that just keeps looking and keeps saying, Cheeto, he did it. I'm not going to sit there and fight the good fight for someone that ain't worth my motherfucking time or my breathlessness. It just ain't going to work. Okay? I know how to read between the lines and see weirdos when I see them. And Danny Masterson, I'm going to tell you guys right now, there's something weird there, right? There's something curly-headed and light-skinned right there. He's in trouble. Okay? No matter what you think. Now, there's people that are like, oh, he's got a lot of money. He'll be fine. He'll go to the yard. No one would trip. Yeah. Ask the guys that are fucking monitoring him 24 hours a day if that's what he thinks. See, you only know yourself. And when guys do exactly what I knew they were going to do, being an ex-convict and having been in prison for so long, I already know their get down. I discussed it with another homeboy. He said the exact same thing. Now he's going to go check in, bro, and go fucking crazy and try to play the role. Boom. Next day. There you go. Update. Anyways, as far as that guy, Isauro Aguirre, who I believe is fucking worse than Danny Masterson, he was able to walk that yard. You know, I think that the powers that may be that were on that particular yard just didn't care, man. That's unfortunate and upsetting that, you know, you have a lot of people that go on YouTube or even on any type of social media platform and talk that high power shit. Oh, if he was here, we'd whack him. If he was there, we'd get him. And then people get action or have their chance and they don't. Okay, like I can only imagine me being on that yard and he got there. I might not have put metal in him because it's not worth losing my whole lifetime and not getting out to my children. But I definitely would have walked up and socked him in his whole mascara. That's just me. Okay, I'm just keeping it real. That's the way I feel. Others might not feel that way. Like I said, it's different case factors, different time zones. I don't know. Hey, he was in his zone and he just saved $150. He was able to fucking walk the yard and do his thing. For those that are comparing the two, there is no comparison. Isauro, yes, he should have been hit. He wasn't. Okay? Now, they might not ever get to him. There's a lot of people on those particular yards that cases would blow your mind. I'm sure there's a lot of vatos that are righteous dudes. And when I say righteous, not anyone that's fucking on them yards, you're already going to prejudge them, right? But there's vatos that don't have bad cases, that were in prison gangs and either fell off or got removed or whatever. And those are the ones that I consider that have righteous charges. Okay, a vato asked me, he was like, hey, what about if this star goes over there? Oh, what about if Alec Baldwin, is it Alec Baldwin? Who's the fucking dude that fucking I don't know if it's Alec Baldwin or some other dude. He just killed somebody, right? They're like, hey, what if he goes to prison? What's going to happen? Nada. I mean, the white dudes, he'll probably go GP. He'll go GP. They're like, for reals? But he's an actor. It don't matter, homie. His case is he don't got a bad case. He wasn't fucking Bill Cosby and women. He killed someone and I know it seems like, oh, that's the craziest thing of all. Yeah, but it's not considered by prison gangs or by prison standards to be a bad case. Now, if he fucking boned her after she was dead, then we got some questions to answer. But he didn't do none of that. He just did whatever he did. So if he wanted to go GP, he'd be allowed to. I mean, he'd probably pay because, of course, he has money. He's going to kick in before he gets kicked in. And, of course, it'll be lightweight extortion, only he won't think so. He'll think he's one of the fellas. And he'll be protected. Them type of individuals that are stars like that will be protected because they have money and because they're a jewel of the Nile. Motherfuckers will be like, yeah, ponle, come over here, you can kick it, hell yeah. ¿Sabes qué? Hey, this is what I need on canteen. I need some honey buns. We need 4 bags of beans and 2 summer sausages. I don't like sausage. Well, you're going to get sausage if you don't buy me sausage. That's just how that is. So there's no comparison there. Anyways, man, as far as the update goes, Danny Masterson is in suicide watch. He's going to stay there until I'm sure they either kick him out to the yard. And don't get it twisted. Don't think that he's automatically just safe. If they come tomorrow, a sergeant comes to his door, looks in and says, what's this puto doing in here? Oh, and don't best believe the cops know. There's procedures they have to follow, okay? Just to cover their ass. Because when he does hit that yard, if something gets put in him and he gets hurt, if they let him out too early, then it's going to come back on CDC and there's a lawsuit that could be filed, right? So they'll keep him. But if he goes over that time that he's eligible to be in there, a sergeant will walk down or a lieutenant. They do watching. Look at this fucking Jake. What's he doing? Is that cock on his face? Look at about these. Oh, he thinks he's a fucking vampire. He's licking the walls, right? They'll kick you out. Roll your shit up. Where am I going? Shut up, bitch. You're going, right? Next thing you know, hey, you're going to 3 block. What the fuck, right? And he's over there and the vatos are there like, oh, we're going to fucking grab him by his head and just double up. And the GBGs are over there fucking, right? It's all bad. Anyways, we'll see how long that lasts for him, but that is the update. That is where he's been moved. As far as Isauro Aguirre, he's been moved out of the prison. And yes, nothing happened to him besides a good old country boy ass kicking. Got coffee, brother? And that's it. Anyways, with that being said, what do you guys think about it? Give me some feedback. Do you think that was racial? There was about, that's racist. It's because he was Mexican. Bro, when's the last time you seen a Mexican get over on a white? When's the last time you seen a Mexican get the love, but the white guy didn't? You better stop that bullshit. Oh, it's reverse racism. Whatever you want to call it, bro. Vatos didn't handle their business with that guy. And maybe they did, or maybe he just gave out the cachetes, the cheeks, right? And it was all good. Well, what are you going to give me? You're going to give me some food? No, all I got is asshole. Well, fuck it. I'll take that. Just call me Wes, right? And then they did their thing. Anyways, with that being said, let me know what you guys think. Should he have been given a pass, but Danny Masterson hasn't? And again, nothing has happened to Danny Masterson yet. It might be in his own mind. It might be in all our own minds. He might get there and actually program on the yard. They might ship all these GBGs up out of there if there's any on that particular yard. Again, they're not in every yard, so there might not be a threat to him. Do I think he'll get slapped up a little bit? Of course. They're going to do something to him. Do I think that he's going to get murked his first day on the yard? Perhaps, but probably not. Isauro didn't, so we'll just see what happens. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. You guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow. Go fucking Taylor, right? Taylor Swift's the only winner here. We'll see what happens, man. Shout out to the 49er fans out there and the KC fans, man. It's not my team, but I'll be in between. I'll be eating me some chicken wings and doing my thing. Just know what it is. With that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people and providing the best possible content I can while I'm here on YouTube, man. And I appreciate all the support we've been getting. It's all because of you. Again, leave a comment, hit that like and subscribe, put your notification bell on all. Let's make some shit happen. The channel is bubbling. Make sure that you tune in to the collective clips. Yes, I do have another channel. If you haven't tapped in yet, go like and subscribe that channel. I got bangers over there. In fact, I'm going to go record another one right now. And I'm on my shit, man. That's the way you stay consistent, humble, and prepared for the next day. Damn, that motherfucker, Masterson, that motherfucker right now with a straight jacket on, talking about I'm about to try anything on. But hey, what about the chicks that were crying and shit? Now he was like, Don Juan, then, huh? Now the vatos are like, that's what he gets.